feels like life is just a pointless, hopeless, painful play. When I question if I should even try to live for me, I see her face and feel so lucky for today. I'm just here singing this song for someone who don't even care I'm around. But one thing I'll tell you, when there's nowhere to turn to, I look to her and know it's worthwhile. I'm just here singing this song for someone who don't even care I'm around. But one thing I'll tell you, when there's nowhere to turn to, I look to her and know it's worth it somehow. Hey, hey, Miss Venus, I wrote you a song about my funny old world that's a-coming along. And I spent so much time trying to make it whole, but I look at it unsure if it's a world that I know. Hey, hey, Miss Venus, I just hope that you know that I try for your pride, trying so hard to go. And I scream and I shout to the one, 'cause there's so much to learn from the things that you've done. Here's to Neptune and Saturn and Jupiter too, and to all the great planets that orbit with you. Here's to so many of the efforts who've seen you with eyes, but of all that would, well, all would just die. Hey, hey, Miss Venus, I wrote you a song about my funny old world that's a-coming along. And I spent so much time trying to make it whole, but I look at it unsure if it's a world that I know. Hey, hey, Miss Venus, I'm not really sure if you'll ever get this message so far out in your world. Would you even understand the nuance of my tongue? Would you ever see me as your possible one?
Well, the thing is I've always made music. Well, not made music. I've always played music. That's since I was 11 years old. That's always been a thing. I mean, it's been a little bit on and off in some sense, but it's always been a little bit consistent. Even when I was doing YouTube, I was still playing guitar in my own time. I was still making stuff. I made that that mixtape that one time. That was something for sure. I made a lot of music from my own videos. A lot of times people would be in the comments asking, like, what is the song? Where's the song from? I'm like, it's just a song I made. I don't know, man. I don't even know how to source that. It's just, you know, it's a thing I made. It's in the video because it's, I think really what inspired me to just start making music right now is partly from a very intense feeling of, like, dread and depression, but also just because, like, I do kind of feel like either I'm getting to that age where I just don't care anymore, or I do feel like genuinely there are people who want to listen to the type of music I think I would be good at making. Because part of the thing of, like, making that mixtape is like, well, I want to make an album, but I don't feel like the type of music I want to make is actually what people want to listen to. I don't know, I really just want to affect people. I want to at least do that. I mean, the money is the thing where it's like, at this point, it's like, shit, dude, I don't want to work anymore. And that's just a feeling of like, man, I don't want to do this shit anymore. This shit sucks. Life sucks, bro. Life sucks in America right now. It don't matter if you're a fucking Democrat, Republican, a leftist, a fucking... It don't matter, bro. Your life sucks, bro. Unless you're fucking rich, unless you're a fucking billionaire, your life fucking sucks, dude. It sucks for all of us. Like, stop looking at, like, trans people, looking at, like, immigrant... Like, they're not the problem. It's ultimately the ruling class, and it's also because I look at a lot of the folk music that's out there now. A lot of it is just pop music, which... You look at Bob Dylan really influenced a lot of it, and I think a lot of this comes from the fact that, like, Bob Dylan kept insisting, I'm not a folk artist, but even after he stopped making what you could consider folk music, people just kept being like, ah, yes, folk singer Bob Dylan, who's making pop songs. And I think a lot of people kind of took that influence, and now they're just doing the same thing, calling it folk music. And I'm not even like a folk purist, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like that evolution kind of bothers me. You know, how are you going to be like championing that you're the new Bob Dylan, and then as soon as like a big event happens where it's like you gotta take a stand, you gotta, you know, because you look at like the guys like Phil Oakes, like Woody Guthrie, who were like, you know, getting in trouble for outwardly supporting, you know, the Soviet Union, or outwardly calling themselves socialists, and, you know, outwardly criticizing the government to the degree they were criticizing the government. And then you're gonna come out here and be like, you know, crying for Charlie Kirk. You know, and it's like, it's not even necessarily a thing where you gotta celebrate. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you're fake if you aren't like in the street celebrating or dancing. Like, it's not a good thing to happen. But like, getting on camera, singing a song and crying, it's like, are you serious, dude? Like, really? Like, this is what Phil Oakes and Woody Guthrie and all these guys left behind? Really? Dudes were getting watched by the government back then. I'd prefer not to have that happen, but it's like, dude, if I got... That's the cost of actually keeping the integrity of it, you know? It's not necessarily I want to be a folk musician. I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat that Bob Dylan would say he was in at that time, back when he was about my age. It's like, I'm not trying to be a folk musician. Folk music is just the best vehicle at this moment, you know? It's the sound that I like the best, the sound I can play the best, and it's the best medium for that type of artistry to really speak on these issues, I feel, and to really illustrate and like tell stories in a way where people can relate and say, you know what, actually, yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm fucking sick of this shit too. I'm fed up. Like, why are we not doing something about this, you know? So maybe I can bring about some change. But to do that, it has to be successful. Bob Dylan, he would just go out and be like, yeah, just play the songs. I don't care if people listen, I just play the songs, but like, it's like I'm trying to be a little more, I don't know, you really shouldn't think about the result too much, but it's like, you know, I've been there, done that as far as the whole, you know, just make stuff for you and see what happens, and where does it get you? The thing that really sucked, I think, is the fact that it got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. That's what sucks, really. It's like, yeah, it's like you gotta be financially successful with it, or else you don't, you know, life takes over. Life doesn't stop, even if you are financially successful with it. That's the thing with all the stuff that I've endeavored towards, you know. I tried to do wrestling, and it was like, I just don't think it's sustainable. And also just like culture and like the avenues and the stuff I have access to, it's like, you don't have the same infrastructure if you're not successful. Don't have the same tools, both in the actual practice itself and also just to live your life in a way that's sustainable. That was part of the thing with YouTube, was like, it was just not sustainable. I just didn't have the time for it. It just was not, you know, it's like, if it's not making me money, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. In this case, because it was really just like, I got rent to pay, I got bills to pay, I gotta be able to eat, you know. Over here eating tortilla chips at 8:23 a.m. in my cheap condo, in the grand scheme of things. Cheap in the grand scheme of things, not, you know, still in debt over it, you know. Got a big old principal debt hanging over my head. But a lot of people can't even get to this point. Like, bro, I'm broke, I'm miserable. And this is doing better than most people. So it's like, this is the type of stuff where it's like, you know, it's like, you gotta sing about that, man.
I see you so close, yet so far, and it tears me apart. 'Cause I want to hold your burning heart, don't care if it leaves me scarred. Miss Venus, they say that you're a monster and nobody ever gets far. Well, I'll feel the rain of acid on me, I'll accept the toxic atmosphere. I'll fall to the wind, burn in the fire, I'll feel the poison reach my brain. But at the end of that hardest day, it'll be worth it just to see your face. Hey, Miss Venus, I wrote you a a song. Hey, Miss Venus, I want to go on. Yeah, Miss Venus, you made me want to live. And if you did nothing else for me, well, that's a lot to give.